Hey y'all. Okay, is that gonna work or not? That's okay, maybe. Okay. All right, so I watched part of a program where they were talking about marriage and how some people are promoting not getting married and how it doesn't work and it's a bad idea and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. It isn't a bad idea unless you marry the wrong person. Okay. Unless you marry the wrong person, it's not a bad idea. But that's the problem. Finding the right person. That is the problem. Okay. Now, bear with me for a second. I'm looking for my chapstick. I told y'all before that I'm tired of married men hitting on me. There have been I don't know, 2 or 3 in a row that were married that were trying to get a piece. And I'm not giving you a piece of anything. I think you better consult your wife for that. It sounds to me, if you're married and you're hitting on other people, you lack the maturity level to be in a marriage. That requires you to be faithful and loyal. And as I said before, people are lying their asses off by saying in front of God and in front of their families, till death do you part, and you know God dang well you ain't gonna do all that. You lack the maturity and the mental stability that's required to be married. You lack the discipline. A lot of people lack discipline to be married. So we live in a society where people, I'm going to keep it real, people are looking for answers to life's problems in someone else's underwear. And that there's no answers in there. Okay? There's no questions in there. There's no answers in there. I've had female surgeries. They never found any paraphernalia down there or in there or up there. They've never found any booklets or any leaflets or any answers to anything anywhere. Okay. And I'm sure men are the same way. There's nothing in their underwear other than their penis and their testicles. There's no leaflets, brochures, answers to life's biggest questions answered. All of that information's in his underwears. But people are still steady looking for instant gratification. That's what you're supposed to get from your wife or your husband. And if for some reason they are unable or unwilling to do physical things with you, they don't feel well, or they're depressed about something, you need to be understanding about that. You're not going to die if you don't get laid. I know there's this wide mythology that if a man doesn't get some, he's just going to fall over and die. There's no man in the ICU or in the hospice part of the hospital who is dying because he didn't get laid or he didn't get laid enough. Okay? No one died from that. No one's life is on the line from that, regardless of the bullshit that's floating around, usually perpetuated by men. So there's a lot of reasons. Worshipping sex is another thing. You get bored with the person you have at home. Again, why are you married? You worship alcohol, you worship drugs, you worship genitals, preferably someone other than your partner, other than your spouse. And again, why? Why did you get married? Why? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I'm tired of being hit on by somebody else's husband. I don't like to be hit on by single men. Okay? I don't. Because they only want one thing, and I'm not stupid. I wasn't born yesterday. And even if it was in the morning, it damn sure wasn't yesterday morning. I don't like being hit on because there's only one thing that they're interested 99.9% of them are interested in. Okay? And I'm not giving that up. So we might as well just scrap that whole idea and you need to go to the next person. You know, if you want to get biblical about it, we could. And there is a scripture, there's a commandment, my bad, that says, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." That means money, alcohol, sex, drugs. Those are gods that you worship. Those are idols that you worship. That is against God. So even though you may be getting married and you may be entering into this so-called not reunion, but this so-called union by God, you already have the wrong mentality because you're not going to be faithful no matter what. Some people are not going, a lot of people are not going to be faithful. And then you have narcissism running rampant because people don't know how to raise their own children properly. They don't teach their children to respect other people. You have mentally, adults with psychological deficits getting knocked up and having children because screwing feels good. So why not be a parent? Oops, I'm pregnant. Uh-oh. Or oops, I got a kid on the way if you're a man. Because screwing feels good. That doesn't make you qualified to be a parent, but we're not going to go there. We're talking about relationships now. But people are not raising their children correctly because a lot of them lack they don't have a sound mind. They have something wrong with them because they weren't raised correctly and their kids weren't raised correctly, and then their kids. So you've got all these generational curses. We talked about this before. You've got multiple generations where a lot of people weren't raised right, and then you have narcissism, which has a genetic component, which is scary because I've seen families where multiple generations are narcissistic, entitled, grandiose. Okay. People are raised from when they're little, seeing Uncle so-and-so be a whore. I've said this before, and grandpa, great grandpa, and the other grandpa, and grandpas on both sides, and they can't control their dicks, and they're just jumping around. And so you learn from a young age that you are supposed to be entitled to grandiose. Doesn't matter that you have a wife at home. You don't worry about that. See that cute little honey over there? You need to get you some of that. So you've got all these dysfunctional ass people creating more people, and they're dysfunctional, and they have kids who are dysfunctional, and it just never seems to stop. Well, all of these people are going to become adults who are going to eventually get into serious relationships or marriages, and they're dysfunctional as hell because they come from multiple generations of dysfunction. So when you have people of sound mind who do not worship genitals, they want one person and one person only because they know that that enriches their life. You could literally bang every person who's breathing and still be unfulfilled because, again, the answers to life's problems are not between someone else's legs. Contrary to popular belief, there's no booklet, leaflet. I mean, I could check right now while I'm on camera, but I can almost promise you there's nothing down there that's going to give you answers to life's problems. Okay? So you got a lot of rampant mental illnesses running around. People don't take responsibility for their mental illness. They feel justified in doing what they want when they want. They get married for reasons selfish reasons. Makes me look good if I'm married. I told you this before, when I married the second time. We weren't having a discussion about faithfulness or loyalty. We weren't having any discussions about that. And he came out of left field. This is a red flag, boys and girls. Came out of left field. I don't even know where this came from. And he said with an attitude, if you feel like you need to be with someone else, you need to be with them. And I'm like, what are you even talking about? Said it with an attitude, like his face all frowned up. You know what that meant? Found out that he's a malignant narcissist way later, many years later. You know what that means? That's narcissist speak for, I'm never going to be faithful to you, but I expect you to be faithful to me. I don't care if I'm cheating. You don't worry about that. You don't worry about that. Okay? Don't let that phase you, because that's just how I roll. But you, on the other hand, if you feel the need to be with other people, you should be with them. I don't have to follow those rules because I'm a narcissist and a hypocrite. But you, on the other hand, need to, and so people don't want to take responsibility for their mental illness. They don't want to take responsibility. They just want to poison everyone that they meet. And that's grounds for failure for any relationship to fail. Okay? They're doomed to fail because your head's not screwed on straight. Just keeping it real. So you got and then people are bored. I have to see your face every day for the rest of my life. Really? Yeah, because that's the vow that you made. Did you forget that? When you lied your ass off and said, until death do you part. Okay? People get bored. They can't be faithful. They have mental illness. They won't take responsibility for it. People lack communication skills, they can't communicate. And so when you have a relationship where there's someone is shutting down or doing the silent treatment because I'm too immature to discuss with you what's going on, then they wonder why the relationship fails. And then you have this dynamic too, and it's not gender specific. You have men, their wives are telling them they're very unhappy. You don't communicate with me. I feel like I'm with a stranger. I don't know you anymore. And on and on and on. And he doesn't change shit. Babe, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you felt that way. Let's work on that together. Now, that's not the conversation that usually happens. Okay? So then she gets tired. And then she divorces him. And he's sitting there like, oh, what? Don't get shocked. She told you how many times that she was unhappy? Don't act like you're surprised. You knew. You knew this was happening. You didn't pay it any attention. Okay? Because when men are unhappy, they start humping other people. They may not leave their wife because it's convenient to have a maid, a baby dispenser, a therapist, a cheerleader, a porn star. It's convenient, a nurse. It's convenient to have all of those things through marriage, which women don't get any of that. That she gets to be all those things for him, but there's nothing given to her except dick. And that's on his grounds if he wants it. Because if he's a narcissist, he's going to do that if and when he feels like it. I shut down. I take my sex drive and I turn it right off. So don't play with me. I'm not the one you want to play with. People are not, they don't have what it takes to share their life with someone else. They just don't, they lack that. They just don't have it. There's a tiny percentage, excuse me, there's a tiny percentage of people who have it, very tiny percentage. And those people stay married forever. People just don't have what it takes. They don't have real love. They're not capable of real love. Love is not just, you make me have butterflies. Every time I see you, I feel butterflies. Because eventually that's going to taper down. If it didn't, you'd die way early. Nobody can stay that high for very long. Every time you see the person, you would eventually die of a heart attack. Okay, so it does have to taper down. When it tapers down, you're going into a deeper level of love. A deeper level that is going to last longer than, oh my God, you give me butterflies. Oh my God, I love you so much. No, that's not love. That's hormones. Okay. When that tapers down, you go into a deeper level of love, meaning I look out for you. I protect. If you are of sound mind, if you're not, then this just goes right over your head. You love the person, you protect them. I'm going in the kitchen. You need anything while I'm in there. I know you don't feel well. Where's your Excedrin? Um, I'm going to the store. I found some homemade chicken noodle soup. Do you want me to bring you home some? You're considerate, you're respectful, you're protective. You love God. He is at the pinnacle of your relationship. He's at the top. You are on the side. Your spouse is here and you're here and you join, and God is at the top. So many men get dragged to church. We're going to go there. They get dragged to church because why would a man go to church when he already thinks he is God? Did I go there? Yes, I did. They get dragged to church. They don't really want to go. Their ego prevents them from being vulnerable to God. So how can they, if they can't be vulnerable to God, how can they be vulnerable to their spouse? They can't even be vulnerable to their own maker. And women aren't any better. Women are narcissistic. Women are conniving. Some women know that it's not proper to have babies when you're not married. So she will get married, have her kids, and then totally emotionally and sexually disconnect from her husband. I've coached people who've been through that. That's not uncommon. I had my kids properly, and you could go on somewhere. Again, not of sound mind to have a relationship with anyone, much less a marriage. If you can't commit with your whole being and you are not of sound mind, you have no business getting in a relationship. You have no business getting married. And the worst part of a relationship is the unpredictability of your partner. Male or female makes no difference. So you need to cover your behind. If you have children, women, if you have children and you're married, you need to prepare yourself for being a single mother, because don't be shocked if one day, because men worship vagina, I'm leaving you for my secretary. She's half your age and she's got an energy that ain't playing. And she don't have kids and a household to take care of. She's young and free and sexy as hell. So you need to be prepared for the unpredictability of your partner. Okay? You can be the best spouse ever. You could be better than you were. I was better the second time than I was the first time, but I was giving my energy and efforts to a narcissist. Your efforts go up in a puff of smoke because that person lacks the ability to appreciate you and love you for real. They're not mentally of sound mind. They can't do that. They can't love you like that. A lot of people can't. So one of the married men who was trying to drop hints that night, and he was wasting his time because I wasn't giving him anything. I don't do that. Whether you're married or single, I don't give a shit. Especially if you're married, but even if you're single, it ain't happening. Go pop your baloney and leave me alone. You've got hands and lubrication. Go get you some lotion and handle your business. Anyway, I'm just tired of being, ugh, it's just disgusting. There's so much more to life than screwing, and so many people are just, and women too, are on the page of how fast can we get it going, and it's just immature and shows a lack of sexual self-control. I have plenty of sexual self-control. That's why I'm not screwing people. Okay? Because I control my body. It doesn't control me. Okay? It doesn't control me. It never has. It never will. Anyway, the married man, and so he was screwing this one chick while he was married. He told me all about it, and she would put pressure on him to leave his wife. Well, he's not going to leave his wife because he's got all the benefits of being married, and he gets a side piece of ass, so there's no reason for him to get a divorce. And his wife is willing to work through this with him, which is stupid. He's never going to stop cheating. So he's crying his eyes out because he's got to tell his wife that he's been cheating, with this other girl. And so he was just in a panic mode because he doesn't know if she's going to say, hey, screw you. You'll never see your kids again. And I'm dead to you. You understand that? I'm dead to you. She's not going to do that. But he doesn't know that. So he confided in her and was very vulnerable and risking losing everything. And she forgave him. So since he got over that big, huge mountain, he's free to hit on me because she's already given him the okay to do it again because she's not going anywhere. Okay, women cheat too. This isn't gender related. Okay. I wouldn't want my husband hitting on other people if I had one. It's disgusting. Why commit? Why promise and commit and lie your fucking ass off in front of everybody? Why? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. People are not, and I guess that's the crux of it. People are not psychologically mature enough to take responsibility for their mental health and to commit to people and be faithful because of the mental problems in their head. Because people with psychiatric problems feel justified in screwing other people. I know I committed to you and we got married and whatever that means. But that person over there looks pretty hot. I can't lie. They look hot. How you doing? So the mental illness kind of is a snowball effect. And God knows that's running rampant. It's in the Bible. I'm not a Bible beater. But there is part of the Bible that says people will be lovers of selves, like I told you before. So there's no incentive to be a good person because I can convince my spouse to stay with me and keep this secret life over here. Or I could tell them and risk losing everything and then they forgive me, which gives me more permission to keep being a hoe. And if I give her HIV, oh well, I'm not really worried about that because I'm having too good of a time right now to worry about anything serious like that. So a lot of people are going to stop. They're just going to quit relationships. They already have. I've talked to women who've been celibate for years. Good for them. I've been celibate for quite some time. I'm going to remain that way. I just cannot, I'm not going to share anything of myself with anyone who doesn't deserve me. And marriage turns, women are slaves for men. Women do everything. And the man gets to exist. She gets to cook and clean and take care of the children. He gets to help make the children. Okay. But he doesn't take care of them. He doesn't know how to cook. He can't fry an egg. He can't push a vacuum cleaner. Boys are raised that they are miniature gods. Small g, gods. So they grow up into narcissistic men. You taught them from a young age that you are the bomb.com, baby. The world is supposed to kiss your ass just because of your gender alone. Now, with that being said, I've told you guys before, and this man is the exception to every rule there is. Go to Jenny Apple. Her page is on YouTube. She's married to Kyle. Her kids are, let me try to remember, Winnie and, I forget the son's name. Oh my God, I'm terrible with this. Terrible. Anyway, she's got terminal cancer. If Kyle was a narcissist, he would have dumped her. If not, divorced her, he would have completely ignored her and sat in the cave, man cave watching TV. And so what, you had chemo today? Whoopie-doo, I'm watching the football game. I really don't give a shit. He would have just completely he would have just revealed his true colors if he was a narcissist. But because he's not a narcissist and because he has a heart that is bigger than the state of Texas, he takes exceptional care of his wife. Exceptional care of his wife. If you ever want to know what real love looks like, if you ever want to know what a real relationship looks like, what it's supposed to look like when you know what hits the fan, there you have it, Jenny Apple. I think their last name is Appleton. So her page is Jenny Apple. She's dying of cancer. She has brain cancer and lung cancer. And her husband treats her like a queen. He treats her like a queen. He doesn't do like my husband did when I was in pain and laying down because I didn't feel well, and he's walking around like a 5-year-old. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. He's not one of those. And when I felt better, I had to get up and cook because his punk ass wasn't going to do it. That's what happens when you're not married to a real man. Anyway, she's married to a real man, and he treats her like a freaking queen. Caters to her every whimper, massages her feet, holds her when she cries. My uncle is sending me birthday wishes, sorry, which is really nice. He treats her so well. He treats her so well, and she treats him very well. And they're not doing it for the camera. I know the difference between we're doing this BS for the camera and this is real. Okay? I know the difference. I watch them closely. I study people. Okay? What they have is beautiful. They'll be married forever until she leaves this world because she is terminal. She has good days and bad days with her treatment. But that's what love looks like. And until people can match what they have or surpass it, relationships aren't going to work. Marriages are going to fail. Because the dedication they have for each other, not him kissing her butt or she's kissing his butt just because he's a man, so therefore he automatically gets the best of everything because of his gender. There's none of that bullshit. They've got each other's back through thick and thin. Until people can match what they have or surpass it, relationships are going to always fail. Marriages will always fail. Divorce lawyers will be happy. They would never run out of business. If you can't commit, don't commit. It's really that easy and that simplistic. And and I've said this before, if you're getting married for business reasons because it looks good, have a business marriage. Pay someone to marry you. She got her bedroom, you got yours. And there's no hanky-panky, and it's strictly business. I pay you so many dollars up front. We get married. I pay you the rest of the money. We stay together for 7 years, and then, or whatever the requirement is, and that's it. You after that amount of time, you go your way, I go my way. Instead of getting married to someone, pretending that you love them, and then bullshitting your way through a marriage while you're cheating behind their back, risking your partner getting HIV, which there's no cure for. You could avoid all of that. Have a business marriage. Because you can't commit to nothing anyway, a lot of times. So you don't have to commit to nothing. You just commit to the business agreement and the handshake. Have papers drawn up legally if you have to. Have a lawyer sign it and everything. Well, I don't know if a lawyer will endorse a business marriage. So I don't know how that's going to work. But have a business marriage. People do it all the time. People are horrible, and they don't value love and connection, and they just cannot, I don't know, they just can't commit. They're just not capable. Most people are not capable, and the reasons are endless. It could be the person was in love, they gave their heart, and they got stomped, and so they never give their heart again. Then don't get into a serious relationship again. Don't get married again. Somebody doesn't need to deal with your psychological BS. They don't. It's not fair to them. And that's any gender. If you can't commit, and I mean seriously commit with your whole being, don't do it. Because karma's going to bite you on the ass. When it comes for you, you kind of deserve it because you weren't capable. You knew you weren't capable of being a good partner, and yet you did it anyway. So karma's coming for you. It's coming. All right? Think about that. There's a multitude of reasons why, people can't commit. A lot of it is something wrong up here. Lack of self-control, psychological illness, like you're just sick. You're just incapable. You're grandiose and entitled. That doesn't give you a good relationship, a good marriage. Trauma from your childhood that wasn't resolved through therapy, which could be why you're a narcissist. I mean, like I said, boredom. There's a lot of reasons. So I just wish people would stop wasting other people's time and stop promising because this is how you feel right now, but 6 months from now, 3 months from now, you're not going to feel this way. So don't commit. Don't waste someone's time. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't freaking do it. And women are giving up because they're tired of being disrespected by men. Tired. Tired of their physical abuse, their emotional abuse, their psychological abuse, the financial abuse. They're just sick and tired of the bullshit. And until they meet someone with some solid this going on, they don't want to be bothered. Because there's so many narcissists running around. You're married to the wrong person, you're in prison. Remember I told you this before? You're incarcerated. Remember I told you that? Okay? Hippie was married. She ended her life because of the shit that he put her through. She was not allowed to have a key to the house. She was not allowed to park in the garage. I wouldn't be surprised if she couldn't use the closet that he used. She probably lived out of a goddamn suitcase, and they were married. You know why? Because he's going to do what the fuck he wants to do when he wants to do it. Yes, we're married, but I really resent you because I'm gay and I'm getting married to a woman because that's what mommy and daddy would approve of. But I hate you, and I hate you being in my house, and I hate sharing my life with you. So I'm going to make you pay. That's another reason why marriages fail, because guys are on the down low. They're on the down low, living a straight lifestyle, knowing god dang well they're not straight. You're in prison if you marry the wrong person. So women are opting out of relationships, period. I don't blame them. I don't blame them one bit. So, what's your take on it? Yeah, like I said, women are no better. They're garbage too. And they're acting like hoes, and they're sleeping with everything that talks to them. So, I mean, or like I said, our morals and ethics are out the window. You cannot build a solid relationship built on screwing. You cannot. There are going to be cracks in the foundation because you started off on a cracked foundation. Because you started your relationship off on physicality. That is not a solid foundation. It's not. Then you discover after you have kids, you've been married and have kids, but you got married based on the sex is so good. Yeah, that happens. Now you've got children and you realize that I don't even like this person that I'm married to. I don't even like them. If you would have kept your clothes on long enough to get to know them up here instead of down here, you could have found out you don't like them or you don't agree on certain things or whatever way before you got married and had kids. If you kept your clothes on long enough, you'd get to know this person. You don't get to know them through moans and groans. You do not. You don't. Okay? Anyway, I'm going to get going. I got to respond to my uncle. I'm surprised he's writing me this late. That's texting me. He doesn't do that. But, yeah. By the way, I got refunded my money. I told you PayPal doesn't fool around. I told you that. In my previous video, there was a guy who scammed me, tried to scam me, and I discovered what was going on, and I got my money refunded. And he had the nerve to tell me, after the postman told me, not the postman, but the guy at the post office told me this is a scam because the tracking number doesn't go past Huntington, Pennsylvania. It just drops off. So this is a fraud. Don't you know when he wrote me, he said, I refunded you your money, but if you do get the item, please pay me back. Look, don't. We're not even going to go there. This is a fraud. Well, part of that is confusing to you. You're not dealing with Susie Sausage Head, okay? Anyway, you guys take care. Much love. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Have a good one.